All right, everyone. Here's a look now at the F1 World Championship. We're we're a couple hours away until the Singapore Grand Prix. I don't want to say we're 8 hours, seven, I think, until the race begins. But here's a look at your Drivers' Championship 2 weeks after the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Championship leader Oscar Piastri had a nightmare of a weekend 2 weeks ago, and Azerbaijan crashing in qualifying, having that jump start, didn't get to serve his 5 second time penalty, which supposedly did not carry in today's race. We'll have to wait and see. And then crashed on lap one. So, yeah. So, Lando Norris only took 6 points out of Piastri's lead in the World Championship. It's only now 25 points, but the man who has been able to clinch his way back into the title fight is Max Verstappen. And everyone thought he's going to be out of the title fight. No, Max knows that he's still in the hunt with this championship. He knows he's not giving up that number one until he's ready to give it up. And you got to think, after the Dutch Grand Prix, he was 104 back. Winning in Monza, he was 94. And then winning in Baku 2 weeks ago, 69. So we know Max is really good. This is the only track he hasn't won at, which is the Singapore Grand Prix. It's just because of the lack and confidence with this Rebel over the past couple of years that hasn't been able to win here in Singapore. And of course, the track has not won at, all because, of just the car just doesn't seem to get good grips here in the Singapore Airlines and all that. But it was able to get some good grips yesterday in qualifying. So he starts P2. And I did see some stats, and it does say that both George Russell and Charles Leclerc are still in contention for the championship fight. I don't see that happening. That with 7 races to go, and with Russell at 202 and Leclerc at 165, that's just too big of a gap to make up compared to Piastri's 324 points. That's just too big of a gap to make up. So we already know that. We already know that Russell and Leclerc are out of the championship fight. No one in the stats say that they're still in contention. They are not in the contention with just 7 races to go. Unless Piastri, Norris, and Verstappen somehow continue to crash out in these last 7 races, and maybe they can somehow get back in the championship fight. Lewis still holds on to P6. Kimi Antonelli was able to regain P7 2 weeks ago after Albon had a miserable GP in Azerbaijan. Then it's Hajar and Hulkenberg completing your top 10. Stroll, then it's Carlos Sainz. What a podium it was for him to jump up from 16th to 12th in the championship. Then it's Liam Lawson in 13th, and then Fernando Alonso only 14th in his car number to be exactly. So yes, 14th in the championship with car 14. So yeah, I think this has to be Fernando Alonso's worst season since 2017 at his McLaren days. Then it's Esteban Ocon in 15th. Pierre Gasly now drops to 16th. Then it's Yuki Tsunoda, the former teammates, formerly known as AlphaTauri, former teammates that are tied for 16th in the championship on both 20 points. And then it's Gabriel Bortoleto, Ollie Behrman, and then Franco Colapinto and Jack Doohan with still no points on the board. And it's for the team's championship, McLaren. McLaren can somehow do it this weekend. They didn't do it 2 weeks ago, because Mercedes, Red Bull, and Ferrari were able to gain points on them. But what McLaren needed, they just need to outscore their rivals by only 13 points to win the championship. All what they just need to do is, it's either 1-2 or 1-3, or at least just get one car on the podium, and they have that sealed up. They would have the constructors sealed up. But if they somehow have another bad race, then that constructor championship fight will still go on to Texas in 2 weeks' time on October 20th. Whether it happens in the sprint or in the Grand Prix in 2 weeks. So it's McLaren. Now that leads from Mercedes as they're able to gain regain second place in the constructor championship after Ferrari had a miserable Azerbaijan Grand Prix. So they're at least, I want to say, 7 back. No. They are at least 5 points back behind Mercedes at this moment. Then Red Bull are slowly clinching back in for second place in the Constructors' Championship. But with Yuki Tsunoda qualifying P15, that's out of the question. And we know how Singapore is. It's really tough to overtake. So we don't know. Red Bull, I think, will either try to get P3 or stay P4. We don't know. And Williams with the biggest points tally in their career on 101 points since Valtteri Bottas in 2016. Then it's the Racing Bulls, who was able to overtake Aston Martin for P6. Of course, that money prize for P6. Then it's Aston Martin in 7th, then Sauber, Haas, and of course Alpine continue to run last. So, can McLaren win the Constructors? Will Ferrari able to fight back and regain P2? Will Red Bull somehow find pace? It's all to play for in the Singapore Grand Prix. I'll see y'all after I actually get back to seeing my friends. So yes, the little recap of the Singapore Grand Prix will be late because I will be seeing my friend, and then after that I will be watching the Cup race. So yeah, so the F1 Singapore Grand Prix recap will be a little bit delayed due to me seeing my friend and watching the Cup race, and of course I will have those Cup race as well posted as well. But yes, thank you guys for understanding, and yeah, I'll see